Hello, Taurus. I'm Jordan, the Green Moon Healing Spirit, and I'm going to be doing your tarot card reading for the month of October 2025. A little bit less of a serious drama, I think, this month, although there's quite a bit going on, a little bit um, going on with your own ruling planet, but the cards just say what they want to say, so we'll just see what they say. I'm going to be picking 10 cards from this traditional Rider-Waite deck, and then I'll be clarifying with three of these gilded tarot cards for each of those. I'll pull you a fantasy oracle and also a talisman. I'm just going to shuffle up the cards a little bit. We do have a little bit going on in the sky, but not anything like we had last month. We have very much less going on. Just interesting to see, of course, all the drama from September with the eclipses, all the transits. There's transits, of course, this month. A little bit different, but okay. All right, Spirit, what do we have for Taurus for the month of October 2025? Okay. Okay. Three of Wands. Five of Cups. The Page of Wands. Ten of Swords. And the Moon. Okay, let's start with that. All right, so I see a sense of patience starting at the beginning of the month here, right around the 1st. The Three of Wands, of course, you may be having to make some room. I do see a bit of waiting. That's what I'm getting, is waiting. It seems like waiting, and what'll come later, we'll talk about that when we get there. But the Three of Wands says, I'm ready. There's a readiness here, Taurus. There is a sense of desire, of wanting. You've done the work, you've put in the time, you just want something to come back. You want something to come to light, something to come into your world. It's definitely a place where you might have been a little patient and you might be getting a little bit sick of it. There's definitely a good amount of energy that you put in. I do see that you've been diligent and you've put in the time. I just get the sense that it may not be the right time for whatever it is that you're waiting for. It might not be the time for this, whatever this is. It's really impossible to see. There's sort of a lacking. There's something that's just not coming. I feel like a sense of disappointment. Of course, we'll talk about this Ten of Swords when we get there, but connected directly to that is the Five of Cups, and I feel like whatever it is that's giving you this sense of waiting, of sticking around to get the whole story or get whatever it is that you wanted to get here, it may just not be coming to light. It may just not be coming to fruition. And you're a little bit stuck on it. I just see a sense of stuckness, something that you were waiting. I feel like you put in the time, and that's probably why you're a little bit on the downside about it, because you did put in the time here. You did do all the work. You showed up, you went to the meetings, you put in the time, you did all the things that you wanted to do, but it's just not coming. It's just not here. you do have some things that you can still fall back on, of course. It's just, I feel like you might have been waiting, some of you, for like, I'm just getting a sense of like a promotion, of something that you were just waiting on and it just did not come. And so you kind of have to fall back on whatever it is that these two cups are here. I get a sense like your current position, your current life that you're in now, just getting to the point where it's a sense of a little bit disappointment, discontentment, somewhere you were just waiting and didn't happen. And I'm sorry about that. That I do see that this Five of Cups kind of looking directly at this Three of Wands, kind of like this is all about, like waiting for something that's not going to come. And it might be a little bit depressing, but the page is ready, for whatever it is. And he knows how to sort of clean up a little bit. I feel like this is like that last little bit of effort you want to put into it. But the page is also very good at giving that little spark somewhere, that new offering of just passionate energy that you can just put right in. I just get the sense that there might be a need for you to kind of put an end to something. I just see this page, of course, looking directly at this Ten of Swords like this, which comes right after the page. The Ten of Swords is all about endings, something being done, something being finished. Now, it should be noted, Taurus, that we do have a full moon in Aries coming around the 6th. So this is in your 12th house. This is all about that space of things going on in the background, things going on in the unknown world that you can't quite see. It might be a little bit of a spiritual place. A full moon calls for us to end something. A full moon calls for us to acknowledge something that might be full, or that we were waiting, or something like that. I kind of see that here. This might be the full moon in Aries working its magic in your 12th house, maybe ending some things in the background. I do see in these cups, or in these cards with the cups and the wands, there may be some things in the background, some things that are kind of stopping the process for you. And I just see you so willing for it. The page is a willing card. He's a willing energy. He's very ready. There's such a sense of preparedness and willingness and all of that. He does have a feather in his cap, so it does speak to a bit of mastery. I just see that whatever it is, there may be some things in the background for you which may just be kind of clouding the picture, obfuscating the narrative, kind of dimming your light a little bit. And I feel like it's causing you a fair amount of grief where you may just have to kind of get over it. That's what I'm seeing is whatever forces in the background. I don't know that they're necessarily adversarial forces. I just see that it just might be a lot going on in the ether in the background that just it's not going to be able to come to light right now. Something is just not ready to come through. Of course, I do see this is also interesting too, because swords, of course, speak to communications and thoughts, but Scorpio now, Mercury is going into Scorpio. And that's a very sensitive place, of course, in your 7th house. That's all about, you know, balancing things out, but it might be just having the conversations, needing to address the things. Scorpio is a very ending energy. That's a place where conversations might lead to something sort of being killed off that doesn't need to be there. I just see that something is ending, some sense of maybe one of these ideas, maybe one of these thoughts, something going on like a side passion in the background. Um, I just don't see that something is just not quite working out for you. It's very interesting, of course. But with the moon card, and the full moon would be like around here, but the moon card may just be that energy really sticking around and kind of just get like a sense of it sticking in your craw a little bit, like it just, if not this, then what? That's just the energy I'm getting is you do get the sense that something needs to end, but it's not quite obvious to you. Maybe it's in that 12th house moment when Aries. Of course, that is a very initiate place. Aries is a very fiery, initiative place. But we'll pull more cards. We'll see what we get. Very interesting, Taurus. Okay, we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Death card. The Empress. Okay. The King of Pentacles. Very interesting, Taurus. We have a couple of your cards coming up. Okay, the Seven of Swords. Very good. All right, so it looks like a little bit more going on. I'm just going to pull a guiding card for you. We have the King of Wands. Very interesting. Okay. So now with this kind of moment up here where we have Mercury and Scorpio, we also need to talk about something else very big happening. The Sun is in Libra. Okay, I forgot to mention that earlier. The Sun being in Libra, this is a very complicated place. Okay, so the Sun being in Libra in your 6th house is more about like your direct partnerships, relationships, or I'm sorry, no, it's about your day-to-day sort of activity, and I mean relationships can be a part of that, but it's all about your calendar, kind of the things on the docket. And I do get that you kind of are needing to get rid of things in order to make space for the new stuff that you need to be a part of the picture. This is almost like a Virgo type energy in Libra, of course. Libra does sort of lean on that Virgo space a little bit, where it relies on that energy to kind of pinpoint things that need to be eliminated from the docket the way that they need to be. Libra, of course, is what I was talking about with being about partnerships, relationships, beauty, harmony, all that sort of stuff. Libra is the sign of the other. But I do see a point here, down here. This is more about the Sun in Libra, but your ruler, Venus, is also in its other house of rulership, which is Libra. And that's coming in about the 13th, so right about here. But it's also coming into a trine at that point with Pluto, which does speak to that energy about elimination, transformation, and it's also out of bounds, so it's very much more amplified in this way. So I don't mean to ramble about astrology, but it does sort of look like some of this energy is coming through. Maybe with this full moon is kind of amplifying that plutonic spark for you. But then after that, Libra gets to kind of work and play with Venus a little bit, is what I'm seeing, because soon the things are going to come to light. Whatever you were waiting for, it may not be working out for you. It may need to go. It may also be that something else in the background needed to go. I mean, that's something else that's possible. Something else that can be going on in the background that might just be kind of taking the place of whatever it is that's really a priority for you. And it's good, though. I do see that coming in under the Three of Wands, I do see this Ace of Pentacles coming. So the Ace of Pentacles under the Three of Wands is a pretty good sign. I mean, the Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity. It's a possibility. Something's being offered to you. And of course, it could be money, something earthly, and Taurus is all about that. That's something that you're working towards. And I feel like whatever it is that's going on up here, there is a sense of kind of doing what you need to do and maybe addressing that space in the background. And it may be confusing at first with this a little bit, Taurus. It's kind of in that 12th house space, and Mercury and Scorpio in the 7th. It's a lot of ending energy with maybe partnerships, with some things going on there. But it may be also some spiritual stuff going on too, but I do get more of a sense of like background noise kind of taking the place of the priorities that you wanted to have. I do see that coming in toward the second half of the month, you do have more opportunity. You do have a little bit more expansion. You do have, and of course, Mercury, when it comes into Scorpio up here, is running directly into Mars, which is all about having the deep conversations, having the deep moments where you can. Mars with Mercury both in Scorpio, Mars is allowed to really run as hard as it wants to there in a very deep way, so it can get to the root of issues with Mercury, communicating, all that sort of energy. And it could very, very well be, I do see that whatever was kind of not coming home, it's kind of changing you. And of course, I think this has a little bit to do with the Plutonic energy, where you may be sort of getting over that moment and using it to drive you into the future. I think that whatever it is, this opportunity may be changing things for you, maybe changing things up, maybe kind of flipping the switch for you and just kicking you into high gear a little bit. Because after that, this is of course a moment of transformation. This may just be what you were waiting for. This may be just what you were hoping for. After this sort of confusing part up here, whatever's happening in the background, it's kind of going away to make space for what really needs to come. And I see this Death card being under this Five of Cups is also a fairly good sign. I feel like it may be that there's an acceptance here, is what I'm getting. There's just a sense of acceptance. That maybe the things that needed to line up may not have all wound up where you wanted them to, but I do see that they kind of were eliminated in the way that they needed to be. I don't know that this was intentional. It might be in some way it was intentional. Again, with that 12th house energy, it's just a little bit complicated. And Pluto in Aquarius, I don't know how deliberate all of this is. It looks like whatever's happening might be happening of its own volition. You might kind of spark a little bit and just maybe signify you're waiting, and that's what's changing it up. But I just see something happening here later on, second half of the month, that's kind of giving you what you need, and it's kicking you sort of in the right direction. And then now, after the transformation happens, we do have the Empress coming. The Empress, this is a Venusian card. It's all about your sort of energy. The beauty, the wonderful things, the harmony, the joy, the peace, all of the things coming together after this point. Second half of the month, of course, at this point, the sun is moving into Scorpio, where that's in your 7th house. That's a little bit more about depth and things that need to be passionately explored. I see that at this point, and that has to do with your partnerships. That has to do with the other people in your life, the beauty, the beautification of your life. I see it's just a place where you may be putting some of this energy and kind of pouring it right in to all of the relationships to enrich yourself. Is just kind of what I'm seeing. Maybe it's like you take one thing from one place and you pour it into your life and you pour it into your relationships and you give that energy to wherever it needs to go, to your circle around you. Maybe your close circle. Scorpio does involve those sort of, it's very passionate, can be a little bit vulnerable. We also have, at this point, it should be mentioned, a new moon in Libra. So that is planting the seeds, maybe this seed here. planting the seeds to kind of come back later to kind of sprout those relationship things for you, and allowing you that energy to plant the seed to initiate something. It may not happen immediately, but I do see some growth coming pretty quickly with the Empress card. I do see, you are also, like I said, ruled by Venus, just as Libra is. But Venus is, of course, also in Libra. So it does speak to that beautification. It may just have to do with simple things too in your life, just processes, things like that. Um, Again, Libra for you is your sixth house, so it's sort of more about practical um, calendar type things, just day to day things, routines, that sort of thing. I do see this as being a little bigger than that, though. I just see maybe that some of the energy that needed to go on is finally transpiring here when the sun moves into Scorpio. It's just kind of taking its time. Seems a little bit delayed, but I do see that the Empress is kind of looking right at this King of Pentacles, and this is your card, Taurus. This is a very knowing card of self-worth. I see now whatever it's going on, you might be enriching yourself to the point where you put yourself in either a position of authority, a position of ownership, a position of control. I just see things are kind of coming up the right way for you later in the month. I don't know that you're trying to end something, but I do see something is ending. It may be just sometimes, Taurus, when we just kind of back burner things over and over and over and just keep putting things there, that space can fill up too. And it can kind of crowd everything else out so that all the priority things that really truly need to happen kind of don't have room. So I think maybe even if it's subconsciously, you're cleaning out your house a little bit. It just seems to me um, to just be that's kind of what's going on. Again, it just seems to me that's what's happening. And the King of Pentacles, of course, knows his self-worth. He's all about control of all of the things that he has in his possession. And I just see a sense of coming into a place of ability, authority, ownership. Things are coming through here for you. Of course, I do see, when I said earlier, I didn't think things were adversarial. I don't know that they're adversarial, but with the Seven of Swords, I always see, usually it's like taking what you need and running with communication, that sort of thing. But I just really see, for this might be, somebody might be trying to just give you some quick talk. I don't know whether they want something from you. I kind of see it running directly into the King of Pentacles like a hard stop, like you might have to put your foot down about something. Um, it may be, I don't know that someone's trying to steal from you. Of course, that's not what I see almost ever with this card. Of course, that's the obvious reading of it, but I never see that. I don't know why. But I just see this Seven of Swords. They may not be ready for you. They may not have expected you to come into this position, and maybe they're just not afraid of you, but maybe this is somebody who needs to go. It could be, somebody that just needs to go in your life. It could be that they're not really sure where they fit, or you're not really sure where they fit. Maybe they don't fit anymore. There can be revision to the social circle in this place, of course. Out in Aquarius, we do have Pluto. It may be, and that's, communications, things like that, and sort of global communications on a big scale, like social media type stuff. Maybe somebody needs to make an exit because you kind of come into a place where they don't want you around or you don't want them around, is more like I see. It's almost like a revision in your life. That's just what I see. Sort of an odd reading. I've almost never seen that ever with this combination, but it seems like something just kind of somebody heading out. Maybe you don't get along. I mean, you don't get along with everybody. I know I don't. But maybe in your new position, there just need to be some people that aren't there anymore. And for your guiding energy, we pulled the King of Wands. King of Wands is a very strategic, but can be a little bit explosive. Um, I just see a sense of passion. I see like the page here. I see like you really truly want something and you'd be willing to stop at nothing to achieve it. I just see a drive here. There's a little bit of upset energy here, maybe just waiting around, but the king doesn't wait for anything. So whatever it is here, it might just be short-lived, and it's just coming to fruition later after you kind of make space. Again, I don't know whether you're intentionally doing it. Um, the king, of course, does like to win a little bit, but he's kind of a self-made card. He's very passionate. He's kind of brought himself to this position. And I just see that for you a little bit, Taurus, where whatever it is you're coming into here, you've kind of made it there for yourself. You've kind of given yourself everywhere. Like this Three of Wands was all about you did the work before and you're kind of just sticking around and waiting, waiting, waiting. But I just see later on, maybe it's coming after something in the background just fades out. I just see that you've made yourself a pretty good bed here with the King of Pentacles and the Empress. Those are very beautiful sort of Venusian cards with this one. Something really pretty is coming through. But you might be a new person. Something that you can't quite put a finger on might have changed here. That's just what I'm getting. But interesting reading for sure. I'm going to pull you, and I'll clarify all these cards, of course, Taurus. Let's pull you a Fantasy Oracle card. This one. The Sentinel. Interesting. Aries pulled this very same card. The Sentinel. Determination and certainty. Of course, there is almost no more determined card than the King of Wands. There is no more certainty in the whole deck almost of who knows what he wants, who knows how to get it, is going to get it. It doesn't matter what it takes. That sort of energy, Taurus. The King of Wands, I just think speaks so well to that determined. And I do see that here for you. There is a very serious sense of determination. It's almost like I get a sense like, I know it's coming. I know it's going to come. I know it's happening. I can't put a finger on it. And then later on, it's like it clicks, right down here. As soon as those peripheral background noise type things are sort of gone, it may be that this Page of Wands is just that little spark you needed to put an end to something. Very interesting. And now let's pull you a talisman card. Very fascinating. Grounding. Okay. Well, I have to say, grounding, it may be this Page of Wands. It may be this Page of Wands that really just gives you that bit of connection. That's just what I'm seeing. And then later on, we have the King of Pentacles, who is, of course, the most grounded card that there is in the deck. You've got a lot of sort of big court cards here with some major arcana that are just speaking to this coming back down to earth to get what you need, to allow for things to come through. It's like, I just see you, Taurus, as you put your feet into the ground, the world kind of comes up around you. That's a very Taurian energy. When you put your foot where it needs to be, when you put them both here, with this king and this empress, it's just, you have this way of rooting in so that you can kind of bring life to those around you. I'm just getting that for you. And this page might be kind of doing the legwork to end just the background noise, but later on, it's helping you come into a place of stability. Very interesting. Okay. Now we're going to clarify these, and I do invite all of you, of course, to stick around for the comprehensive, which you can follow the link in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and clarify all these cards. All right, Spirit, can we clarify this Three of Wands? We have the Chariot. I have the Page of Pentacles. I have the King of Pentacles again. It's your card, Taurus. And now I'll clarify this Five of Cups. The Seven of Cups. A lot of confusing cup energy there. I also have the Seven of Pentacles. That's only two, right? Yes. Okay. Take one more for the Five of Cups. The Page of Swords. Now I'll clarify this Page of Wands. I have the Hermit. I have the King of Wands here too. And I have the Two of Wands. Beautiful. And now let's clarify this Ten of Swords. Be an interesting moment, I think. I have the Five of Swords. Knight of Wands. The Emperor. Okay. Now we'll clarify this Moon card. I have the Eight of Wands. I have the Four of Pentacles. And I have the Three of Cups. Very interesting. Now I'll clarify this Ace of Pentacles. Temperance. I have the King of Cups. We have the Five of Cups as well. I like the Five of Cups here coming up with the Ace of Pentacles. I have the Six of Wands on the Death card. I have the Devil. And I also have Queen of Swords. Now the Empress card. Queen of Wands. Beautiful. I'll pull both of these, so we'll take both of those. I have the Five of Wands, and I also have the Ace of Pentacles here too. So I like that connected here to this Ace of Pentacles as well on the Empress. And for the King of Pentacles, I have the Magician. I have the King of Swords. And I have the Moon. Now I'll clarify the Seven of Swords. I have the Knight of Pentacles. I also have the Hanged Man. A lot of sort of slow stuck energy there. And I have the Ten of Pentacles. Beautiful. And now I'll clarify this King of Wands. I'll probably just pull two cards for that one. I can just pull a few like this. Spirit, clarify the King of Wands. The Page of Cups. And Strength. Beautiful. Okay, very good. So like I said earlier, I do encourage anybody who wants to stick around for the comprehensive to click the link in the description. I always get so much more information there. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. I can't possibly resonate with everybody. I mean, there's a lot of you, so it would be impossible. But I'll go ahead and pause it here, and we'll pick it up in the comprehensive.